What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and the channel is 540 Flips. Happy New Year, happy 2024. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. I hope your 2024 has started with a bang and your 2023 gave you everything that you had hoped for. I'm going to jump over to the computer here in a bit, but I wanted to do a little bit of an opening. First, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button, jump on board. I appreciate everybody that has been watching the videos, subscribing, commenting, all of that stuff. So I do really appreciate you guys. I hope I can make 2024 even better for not only myself, but for all of you with content and information and that sort of thing, entertainment. So anyway, I also wanted to get on here and kind of give a forefront disclaimer. I am going to be sharing numbers today, and I know not everybody opens the folder up, the books up, and shows this information. This isn't a brag session. This isn't a, this is all you can do. This isn't, you'll never make this. It's nothing like that. I've said it in the past, take individualized numbers with a grain of salt, because what I do doesn't necessarily mean it's what you're going to do. You may do way, way better, or it may not be as good for you. So take this with a grain of salt. I am sharing this because I have said I wanted to be transparent, open, and honest about things on the channel. And being that this closes my first official year of reselling, I thought it would be good information for folks out there that might be new or might be considering reselling, to just give an idea of what it looks like. But I want to be sure to say, and this isn't to toot my own horn, again, results will vary. I am very self-driven. I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I put in a lot of hours doing this. I work more now than I did when I had a job. However, I have a lot more fun doing this. I have a lot more flexibility. I work from home. I am around my family more. I can take a day off if I want to. For example, since December 22nd, I didn't list anything. I only shipped orders. I still had orders coming in every day. I shipped orders. I didn't do anything else until yesterday. Yesterday was the first day I started listing again. And then, I'm going to do a little bit of stuff today. I don't know how much listing I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get some other stuff done. And then tomorrow I actually have to go to the airport to pick up my in-laws. So it gives you flexibility. Now, again, I will reiterate, I do put in a lot of hours on this. I also want to make sure I disclose that many YouTubers out there, they are themselves and their spouse, or they have employees or whatever. The reason I'm sharing my numbers is I am in a scenario where my wife works full time. She does get to help me occasionally, but it is not near, to the extent that, most people out there have. She gets to go out and source with me on the weekends. It's nice to have someone going out to yard sales. If she has it, moments on the weekends, if we don't go sourcing, she'll sit down and create a few listings. So if I have a huge amount of orders to pack out and she's not doing anything, she'll come up and she'll help me weigh the packages and put the labels on the package. 90+%, and I don't want to take any credit away from her, because she does help me if I ask or if she has time. But I would say over 90% of the work has been me solo. So that's another reason I wanted to share this, because comparing what a partnership like a husband and wife can do together when they're both full-time, or someone that's got employees helping them or whatever, those numbers are going to be different. Like, those people should be crushing it because there's a lot more, help. It's not just one person trying to do it all. So I thought this would be good to share. I hope folks enjoy it. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this was good? Do you think it was bad? I'll tell you my thoughts right now. I want to do better. I am very happy with this year, but again, I am very self-driven and I want to grow this. I don't want to. It's nice to be proud of what you've done, but it's always good to challenge yourself and see what you can become. I always say complacency is the beginning of failure. And so I don't want to be, complacent and just content with where I'm at. I want to grow. And that's the idea for 2024, is to do even better. Use this as a baseline. I got little notes here because I recorded this once and forgot some things. So use this as a baseline. This is my first year, so I'm going to use this as what I've been able to do. And then again, like I said, I want to grow that. If I go backwards, then there's something wrong. So I'm going to use this as kind of my median, my baseline, and then I can target better or worse. You hear a lot of people out there saying that reselling's dying. You can't resell. There's too many resellers. There's not enough resellers. eBay sucks. It's another thing I want to mention. This is only eBay. I only sell on eBay currently. I had tried to put a few items on Poshmark. That is just a new world and a circus of events that I did not understand. I am approved to sell on District, but I have not pulled time away to place a lot of items on there yet, because a lot of the marketplaces, honestly, they opened up during the holiday season, and I didn't want to pull my attention away from eBay to put over on District. I actually had told some of the folks, when I get some time and after things settle down, I will start putting over there. But anyway, I'm going to jump over to the computer. I'm going to share some numbers. We're going to go over it. Hopefully this helps folks out. Stick around, enjoy, subscribe if you haven't. I'll catch you guys in a minute. All right, guys, welcome back. Got you over here on the computer screen. Got the seller tab, the performance page pulled up. You see here, I have it set to last year. Report for January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. So we're going to go into this and just I'm going to go through a few things, explain things to kind of make it. I know people share some numbers sometimes. I want to actually break the numbers down a little bit and kind of explain from my perspective and what numbers I actually put more weight in than the others, and kind of dictate to myself on how well I feel like I'm doing. So, but anyway, you first start with this number right here. This is obviously your gross. It's the cool number. It's the higher number that you're going to see when you're going through your reports. It's the number that a lot of people talk about. I'll give an example. When people do their what solds, if they say, I sold 10 items for $200, that's their gross number. The problem with that number is it bakes in the shipping that's paid. It bakes in the taxes. It doesn't actually present the full picture. It doesn't really mean much in terms of how much is going into your bank account. And that's the number that is important to me, because that's the number I'm withdrawing from to pay bills or buy, shipping supplies, paying something for the business, what have you. That's the number that I find important because it tells me whether or not I am succeeding or failing. I could, have off the wall shipping numbers that are going to increase my total sale number. And so, or, you've heard it mentioned before, people could source at a high number, pay $40 for an item and sell it for 50. Well, that's going to help their number out, but the profit isn't really there. So this number is it's the cute number. It's the cool number. It's the high number. But the number that really is important is this one. This is the first number to start with that is important. This is the net sales this is what gets deposited into your bank account. So for the year, I had $57,873.62 deposited into my bank account. Um, Now, this doesn't mean that that's what I quote unquote air quotes earned, because you obviously have cost of goods and everything else, bundled up in there. And then you're going to have tax liabilities and that sort of thing. So I'm looking at this number, and for clarifications, um, I brought home after taxes and everything, I brought home about $1,200 a week when I was working my full-time job in manufacturing. I made like, I can't remember exactly, so please don't quote me on this, but I made 21.50, 22.50, somewhere in there. I made roughly between 20 and $25. But I brought home around 1,200 a week. If you do that over the course of or not a week, bi-weekly, you do that over the course of 26 weeks, and I was bringing home for the year 31,200. Now, you might say that's not a lot of money, and whatever. Again, something I forgot to mention. Well, I did mention, but my wife works full time. She works for a building company that does houses, trusses, all that. She works in the design department. It's actually the largest company. I don't know if it's in the world now or in the U.S., but they are a massive building firm. She's not making money hand over fist, but she doesn't do bad. She's been there for, I think, 10 years now. So she carries the insurance, all of that stuff. But this is the kind of number that I needed to evaluate when I went self-employed full time. Could I make this money up? I knew I could pay the bills that I was responsible for and everything off of this. I knew what finances I needed to have to be sustainable. And so this was my target number. I actually also want to clarify, I didn't jump into reselling from a full-time job to reselling. I was already self-employed a year prior. I kind of jumped into reselling by chance. Beginning of last year, January 3rd of last year, I decided when I was heading to the post office to ship some eBay orders because I was selling sports cards. I was kind of getting tired of the sports card grind. It's low margins, low profits, and it was also, it was something that's a hobby to me, and I didn't want to continue mixing my hobby with work, supporting the bills off of something that was there that I was supposed to enjoy. Um, so I stopped at a Goodwill, and that's kind of how this whole ball got rolling. I spent $10. I talked about it in an old video. Spent $10, flipped that into like 110 or 120 bucks in no time. And I was like, there's something here. Let me give this a shot. I think I can do this. And so that's kind of how the ball got rolling. Um, so this number here was my target number. If you take this number, and I'm going to estimate, I don't have all of my numbers, for cost of goods and everything. I'm going to estimate between 8 and 1,200 per month. Um, $800 would be 9,600 on the year. Uh, Obviously, 1,000 would be 12,000 on the year. So, if you just to make it simple, if you say I spent $10,000 throughout the year on sourcing, it might have even been less than that, because, as an example, right now I haven't really sourced anything in probably the past 6 weeks. I know January and February I didn't source a lot of money or a lot of items in 2023. So if you really calculated it all up, I'm gonna throw a number of 10,000 out there, give or take. Like I said, 8 to 1,200 a month was likely my average. But let's deduct 10,000 off of this. So that's gonna put me at 47,873. Now I'm gonna take this and go 47,873, and then I'm gonna multiply it and deduct 25% off of that. And that's, I'm going to estimate that's my tax liability, approximately $12,000 in tax liability. And that's going to leave me with 35,904. So you can see there, taking out $10,000 and then another 25% on top of that, it's going to leave me with more money than I was making at my full-time job. So that's why when I say I'm very happy with my first year, I found reselling and it worked great. It actually was better than me working full-time. My bank account is a lot nicer than it's probably ever been. I feel more financially stable, and this is a lot of fun. So just to kind of give some clarity on, this is estimated numbers here. I don't, I have to sit down and do all the tax numbers and all that stuff, but this is estimated. It's probably pretty close, but it gives a good picture. There's obviously going to be, deductions and all of that stuff that I got to dive into and figure all of that out. But um, I would say 10,000 on my cost of goods, and then deduct the 25%, and then there we go. That also gives you a good picture. Just because this number is 94,000, the actual earnings is a lot less because of all of the tax implications, fees, all of that other stuff, cost of goods. So when somebody shows you this number, um, don't pay no mind to it. It's cool. It's the cool number. So but anyway, this is a number I was really proud of. My quantity sold was 2,554. To exceed 2,500, that was pretty awesome to see that number roll over. So I'm happy with that. ASP is another number that I don't put a lot of weight on. People, they talk about they want to get to this or that ASP. Again, it's calculating in your shipping and everything else. So if you're selling $20 items with $20 shipping, then yeah, you're going to hit $40 ASP. But you know that that doesn't give a good picture. So I take this again with a grain of salt. I'll also go down here in a bit and show you why my number actually isn't um, very well uh, presented. I tried to figure out the word I wanted to use, because mine is actually drugged down a little bit, but we'll get into why. Over here, just real quick, I don't sell hardly anything at auction. I ran a locomotive that I had a Lionel train at auction, and one or two other items. That's all I did. Most all of my sales are fixed price sales, so you can see that here. Here's buyer insights. It's going to show you the total number of buyers was 2373, which you can see that there was a lot of multi-quantity orders and repeat buyer with multi-quantity orders, etc. Mostly in sports cards, but you can see that number there and the difference in that. Here is the one-time buyers versus repeat buyers. All right, let's get down here to categories. So here you can see my top category was sports cards. Makes sense. When I started out in January and February, pretty much all of my sales were sports cards. I didn't have much else in my store. I was having to build up inventory, figure out where to source, what to source, like estate sale companies that were good to go to, because in January and February, nobody's doing yard sales around here. My thrift stores aren't good. I did not know there was a Goodwill Bins near me. So there was a lot of learning process in the beginning. And I already had a store built with sports cards. So I had like, I don't know, 300 or 400 items in my store, but it was all sports cards. So it makes sense that this number, was my top category, because in the beginning of the year, that was all that was there until I started building it up. Throughout the year, I've made a few sales. I made one sale that actually boosted this number, but I didn't list a ton of sports cards throughout the year. My number one reseller category, this would probably shock folks, but it's hats. You can see here 224 one-time buyers, 2 repeat buyers, and my gross number was $5,580 in hats. So that was pretty awesome. You got Christmas Village houses, some action figures. This NASCAR buy was absolutely insane. I did a video on it. It was from the 301. Bought out the guy's tables, and it's produced very well. Then we'll come down here. T-shirts have been pretty good for me. Locomotives, I mentioned them. Check this out. I've only sold 5 of them, and it was over $2,000. You got video games, digital cameras, tunnels, bridges, buildings, coats and jackets, golf clubs, jeans, shoes, etc., handbags, consoles, Christmas ornaments, and the list goes on. So that's my top categories, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I sold and what categories I sold in. But hats, that shouldn't be a surprise. I actually did a video showing how many hats I had, but hats do sell and they sell pretty well. So, all right, let's go down here because this is an area that I find, I wish they would move this area up of importance when they're showing these performance numbers and everything. But you see here, again, this is the $94,086, which is this number right here. But then they give you a better picture of what that 94,000 consisted of. Item sales. This is a number that I find is pretty relevant because this is the number that your item itself is selling for. It, doesn't have the shipping baked in or any of that other stuff. Now it is before fees and all that, but this $72,087.44. That is the amount that my items sold for. Now, when a customer buys shipping, yay, that just goes into buying the shipping, the label, hopefully it covers a little bit of the box expenses, that sort of thing. But this is what is actually being paid for the price of the item. And that's what's most important to me. Because when I go to the yard sale or an estate sale and I buy the item and I pay $2 and I want 20 for it, then I want somebody to buy it at $20. So this is that number that matters. The shipping and all that other stuff, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some on shipping. I don't do calculated. I do flat rate shipping. I set my price of what I think it's going to cost. And I do try to add, a very small margin onto that to cover my boxes or the fees that eBay takes out, whatever. So anyway, $72,087.44 on my item sales. You see here, I spent $16,291 on shipping labels, and customers paid over $5,700 in taxes and government fees. You can see my breakdown of months right here. I told y'all January and February sucked. It was just over 8,400 combined for those 2 months. In March, I did 11,157. I had more in item sales in March than I had total sales, like all baked in, January, February combined. So March, you see the increase, the how the store grew, how me as a reseller grew, how I was kind of learning things, had somewhat figured it out, had built my store a little bit, and things just started moving along. I actually kind of fooled myself, though. I will be honest. I thought, okay, well, if I hit this now, I can continue to grow that. If you notice, this was my biggest month, but I did have 2 other months that tripped the 10,000 mark on the scale. So I'm proud of that. I had a couple, low months. May was kind of low. July was a bit low, but these were also months that I believe we took trips to go sourcing. So, there's periods there where like maybe the store wasn't being tended to like it should have been. I was outsourcing more, that sort of thing. You get over here to the fourth quarter, you see October was really good. November was pretty good. December, again, I didn't list much. I took half of December off, so to speak. So there's how my months looked. And this was the item sales. Let's get over here to selling costs real quick because I do want to talk about it. If you hit this little arrow, it's going to bring a drop down. And you hear people talking about promoted, whether you should promote, shouldn't promote. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it help? Does it not help? If you look on this breakdown, this is the final value fees I would have paid no matter what on the items I sold. This ad fees, and then you see here where it says standard. I do standard campaign on the ad fees. So you can see here, my promoted listings cost me $3,698. That's throughout the year. My promoted, I do a 3, 5, or 7%. Depends on what the item is, depending, it dictates on what I put the percentage at. I have different reasons for different percentages, but I do either 3, 5, or 7. And I don't think that 3,700 is bad. Uh, would that have helped? It would have, put me at 60,000 on my net. Okay, great. Yes. But if you're going to run this business, most all businesses have advertising costs or they have an advertising budget or whatever. I'm looking at this as my advertising costs. I also tried to tell myself that it would be awesome to have my own shop or something. You see some of the YouTubers now doing antique, store things or whatever, antique mall booths. I tried that several years ago, not for reselling, but for sports cards. And I'll be quite honest with you, I didn't do it past the 3 months that they required you to sign the lease for because I found that I was selling my items and paying my booth rental. Like that's basic. And this was in a period where sports cars were hot and prices were up and everything. And I had like loaded glass cases in there, displays and everything. And it just it wasn't productive enough to pay the costs of the booth and everything. And so I shut it down, but when I look at it, if I wanted to have a store, you're going to have a lease, you're going to have insurance, you're going to have utilities, you're going to have all these things that you got to pay for. And over a 12-month period, I'm pretty certain that it's going to cost more than $16,000. eBay allows me to sell to the entire world. It has a large audience, a lot of foot traffic, so to speak, or virtual foot traffic. And I can, you know, I can make $57,000, before taxes and all that with $16,000 in fees. That's not bad. Like, I mean, it's a lot of money, but when you put it into perspective of what it would cost you to run a business like this in another form, I don't think that's bad. I also want to clarify, I know a lot of people out there have storage units that they pay for, or maybe other facilities that they rent out or that sort of thing. My entire business is ran from my house. So it's all covered within what I already had. I'm not paying for storage units or any of that other stuff. So, but anyway, 16,146 total in eBay fees. My final values there, you see 12,316 ad fees, which is promoted, 36.98. This transaction fee credits, this would be like canceled orders and that sort of thing, or refunded orders if I had any. They would credit that back to me. So that was $273. And then my store subscription, I did screw up on my store subscriptions, I think. I bumped up to a higher level store. So I am paying more per month now. But I was afraid that I was getting close to my allowed free listings and I wanted to ramp my store up. And that fear of like going over my allowed listings um, was holding me back from listing, just being honest. But after looking at it, I don't think I actually needed to bump my store up because they give you all those other free listings. I panicked. My store was coming time for renewal. I upgraded it, and now, unfortunately, since I went to the higher level, I'm kind of stuck in it for right now. So it is what it is, but it's all baked in anyway. Then you see the shipping labels, and then total selling cost there is at 30,000. Let's look at some of the bigger sales. I know this video is getting longer. I do appreciate it if you're still sticking around. I hope this has been informational. Again, if you enjoyed the content, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to browse through my notes right here. Let's see. Oh, I did want to go up here real quick and mention this. This 10,000, looking at that number, if I deducted where I'm not really selling cards anymore, because I am going to try to liquidate my card stuff, it's going to give me time to move into more of the other reselling things, first of all, because then I'm not going to be spending time listing cards. But I I feel comfortable even removing that number, that I would be okay. If you take this out, I look at about 60% would be added in. So we're gonna say like 6,000 from this would put it down to 51,000. That's not great. It's, but this again is my first year and I'm still ramping my store up. I still have inventory out there to list and sell and everything else. So I would still feel comfortable without this card number. And so I am going to try to move away from selling cards. This year, I'm hoping to liquidate my card inventory and just stick with my collection. That way I can get back to enjoying cards for the hobby that I enjoy and not the business aspect of it, in terms of selling cards or being a dealer in cards, that sort of thing. So I wanted to mention that and make sure that was clear. Let's see. Oh, so right here, I also wanted to talk about this. You hear people talk about sending out offers, and they say, every morning I get up and send out offers. I do not do that. I know I'm a bit different in sorts. I know that people might put down in the comments you could sell so much more, your number could be so much higher, and they may be true. I do this on a different strategy. I wait till I get to 250, 300, 350, 400 items that I can send offers out on before I send those offers out. I don't do it every day. I don't sit there and every time there's an item that I can send an offer on, I send it out. I don't do that. I also sometimes wait until maybe my store needs a little bit of a boost. If I have 300 and some items I can send offers out on, that's going to jumpstart my store back up. So I wait until they build up, and then I pick and choose scenarios of when I feel like maybe it's needed to send the offers. I don't just send them out all the time. And you can see that here on seller initiated offers. It was only $5,628 of my sales all year. $94,000 in sales, and only 5,600 of that was me sending offers out. Best offers also, you see it says 19.4%, 18,287. I do put best offers on certain items. If it's items that I feel would move better with a best offer on it, I'll do that. Like hats, I usually put a best offer on because I'm into them for so cheap. I can be negotiable. Shirts, I can put best offers on usually. Clothing like jeans, a lot of times I'll put it on there. Or if it is an item that I don't have solid sales numbers for or comps for, I will throw it out there at what I think it potentially could sell for, but be open to negotiation. That way it's not just sitting there and me hoping to get that amount. I'm giving an open door to say, okay, this would be cool if I get this much, but I'm open to offers and see where the market or people of interest are open to paying. So I don't put best offer on everything. I do utilize it in different scenarios. Um, but that's kind of what my offer sales look like: 5628 and 18287. Seller initiated best offer sales without any offers, 70,171. So there you can see when I tell you guys I do things different than what popular, the census is, the majority of people, I guess is how I should say it. I definitely do things different, I feel. It also allows me to see that in my first year doing it this way, if people really truly say that it would boost numbers, that means the potential is higher of what I could possibly do. So I keep that in mind as well. All right, let's get down to the sales. My biggest sale of the year was a sports card. It was a Camel card, Young Guns Clear Cut. If you're not familiar with cards, that's gibberish, I understand. But it sold, the total sale price was $23.91.35. It netted me $1,785.13. Next up is a locomotive train. I told you guys they sell good. I bought this one for roughly $200 in an estate sale. It sold for $887.39. I netted 646.78. I still have a couple train pieces that I need to get up that are very good. I actually have the most expensive locomotive that I bought last year. I have not even listed, so there's a little tidbit for you. This here is a Mark's Toys. Go over this real quick. I am into this piece, believe it or not, under $10. We went to a yard sale on a Sunday. We didn't think, after realizing that the yard sale had happened on Saturday, that there would be any of the stuff that we've seen in the listing still there. To our surprise, it was all still there. And I don't remember how many Mark's Toys pieces it was, but I paid $130 for everything, and I know I got more than 13 pieces total of items. So I'm into this under $10. Um, to my surprise, the box had been open, but everything inside was brand new and still sealed. So I listed it new open box. Again, it was an item I threw out there with a high number and best offer. It sold for full price, and it was a total sale of $756.98. I netted $542.89 on that one item. So that was a heck of a surprising find. So that was a pretty cool sale. Here is a pre-war. This is a famous Lionel piece. It is the number 300 Hellgate Bridge. I bought this at a in-person auction. There's an auction house about 30 minutes away from me. I don't remember exactly what I paid. Probably, I think it was like $165 or something like that. I know it wasn't insanely high, but total sale price on that was $748.98. I netted $536.51. Here's another locomotive. This is the one I ran at auction. I paid 200 some bucks for it. It sold for 689.76. I actually got this from the same sale, or the same place as this, but different sales. So I did bid on this item. I had a local trained professional test it and everything. It worked, and I netted 539 on that. So, not a bad profit there. This piece was found at a church sale. I'm telling you guys, look at stuff that catches your eye. If you don't know what it is, do a little bit of research. I had no clue what this is. It's a little porcelain insulator. On the inside, well, my wife seen it. She's like, I wonder why this is $10. On the inside, it had Fornasetti Milano. I just Googled Fornasetti, had no clue what to even call this thing or who it was. But Google told me that Fornasetti was expensive, and that's all I needed to know. It is actually an insulator. We paid $10 for this, and it sold with a total sale price of $578.35, or a net of $437.98. This Team Associated, it's a vintage RC car. They were very popular for racing and all of that. It's a highly collectible car. I paid on an online auction about 125 bucks or 140 bucks, somewhere in there. It sold total sale 557.04, and I netted 364.66. So I'll scroll down through here. You can see some of the higher price sales. There's another train piece. I actually had two of these packs. I don't know if they're both on there. Yep, there's the other one, Pratt's Hollow. So I had two of them. You can see the sale prices there. What I netted, that was almost $500 on those two. So, but anyway, guys, I hope this helps. If you're new, if you're thinking about getting into reselling, I would not ever tell someone to jump in. You have to evaluate, like I showed you, like what I knew I needed to kind of make to cover bills and everything else, what my former job was bringing in. I was comfortable paying my bills. I had worked there for several years. So I knew I could pay my bills and everything there. And I just knew what I needed to substitute, like how much I needed to substitute by doing this. Don't just rush into it. Don't look at what everybody else is doing and say, well, if they're doing it, I can do it. I don't want to say you can't do it, because that's not true. Anybody can do anything they want out there, but you got to take your situation. You got to take your location, what sourcing opportunities you have, what items you have available to you. Um, are you, ask yourself, am I motivated to do this? Do I have the space to store this stuff? Can I be organized enough to do inventory and that sort of thing? There's a lot that goes into it. Do you want to devote the hours to it? You also have to understand, not necessarily myself because I'm not even monetized, but a lot of your larger channels out there, they're likely making, and I can say this because I've been on YouTube on another channel. I know people that have larger channels. I know what they make, or an estimate of what they make through social media and content. A lot of those people are making more money on YouTube than they are the reselling side. The reselling is the topic of conversation that they use to do the content to create their revenue. They do have fun reselling. I'm not saying that. They do make money reselling. I'm not saying that. But because you see them do something doesn't mean it's going to equate to you, because they do have a lot more income coming in. And, so their finances are completely different. Watch content, use it for information, use it for entertainment, but you have to always come back and evaluate yourself and what you want to do, what you want to get out of this, what you're capable of doing, what your area will provide for you. You can't go out and pick an orange off of an apple tree, so to speak. You have to know what is available in your area. You might only have potato fields. You may not even have fruit trees. So um, you got to evaluate yourself, your area, your potential, and really your self drive and motivation. But I don't think I've missed anything that I wanted to cover. Again, I know this video is going to be long. I do hope that it's helpful. I want to be as transparent and honest as possible with everybody. I want to help people. But I also, I want to be a little bit entertaining. I know I can be kind of vanilla and boring as well. But that's all I got for you guys. I hope 2024 is great. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. I am on Instagram. You can leave a comment, whatever. Um, but yeah, just wanted to get this out, share it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope your week goes well. Let's start off 2024 with a bang in this first week, and I will catch you guys in the next one.